he brought 3 forks thinking we were all gonna eat it, and I was like, no, not today. This chubby boy is eating all of it. Hello and welcome back to the Unknown Podcast. This is episode 28. Let's get right into it. Alright, so today's fact of the day is a crocodile can't poke its tongue out. Because their tongues are attached to the roof of their mouths, crocodiles cannot stick their tongues out, although their very similar counterparts, alligators, can. So there you go, get a little fact in your day. Now let's start with the fact that I went out with my roommates to get some sushi, and lo and behold, I get injured, just like me to do that. I get a splinter in my freaking pinky, my pinky of all places. And I'm gonna tell you, this annoyed me for probably hours. Other than like the food and everything and the good conversations, this splinter was the one thing that was just digging into my brain, other than like those prices and all the I'm gonna feel later after I eat all that food. Another thing, so when it came to dessert, all right, and the thing you have to remember is you always got room for dessert, even if it's like an all-you-can-eat buffet and you're saving yourself, and then you're just like, damn, like I ordered too much, my eyes are bigger than my stomach, and then dessert comes. You just gotta eat it. Doesn't matter how much you've eaten beforehand, even if you had to like stuff your purse a little bit so you don't have to pay extra, you can finish it. So this is my mentality anyways. So I ordered dinner. After dinner I ordered dessert, and he's bringing it out. He's bringing like ice cream for everyone, and then I got a little cake, and he looks at everyone individually, and he sees me, and he's like, this is the guy. Yeah, I'm surprised he just didn't look at my belly and just be like, yeah, it's you. And me and my roommates got a good kick out of that. And another thing happened too. Later I ordered 3 of those things. Yeah, I know. And he brought 3 forks thinking we were all gonna eat it, and I was like, no, not today. This chubby boy is eating all of it. So then another thing recently anyways that's been going on is I actually put like the first real dent into my car. Now, it wasn't how you would think it would happen, I wasn't speeding, I wasn't like hitting another car, nothing like that. In fact, it was something really just kind of like silly. I ended up hitting it just kind of shows you what kind of driver I am. It's not something crazy, it's not something where it's like a coincidence, like just an incident where it's just like, oh, 2 bad things happened at once and just made for this situation that's just very unfortunate. No, I literally went straight into this concrete piece in the driveway, because we've got pretty much 2 driveways separating the above and the below apartments in the house that I live in, and there's like a separation in between them made of concrete. It doesn't go all the way, and I was kind of parking in between the 2 driveways leading up to where this cement block is, and I went too fast. Okay, yeah, I guess you can say I wasn't speeding, but I went too fast in, thought I had more room than I did, and bam, even though I wasn't going that fast, I was still rolling. It freaking, the concrete, because it was the corner, went piercing straight through the metal, and I still have a piece of rock literally in. I tried getting it all out, and oh man, right after that you feel real stupid. Like, I'll tell you, I was like, what did I just do? For about the rest of the whole entire day I just spent doing that, like thinking like, what did I do? How did I do this? How am I capable of just screwing up my car so easily? And that's pretty freaky. But then you think about like all the stupid things you see people do on the road, and you kind of think like, this is probably the least of my worries. At least someone didn't go and T-bone me or something like that. And now I'm gonna get into something, that's a little more me. Ice caps. Okay, ice caps, ice cream. I made the discovery at dinner today that all the best things, they start with ice, even if it's just ice itself. Ice itself is amazing. You just chewing on ice, it's so relaxing. It feels good. You get some H2O in your system. Then there's ice caps, all right? Now this is a little different. You get a little caffeine in your system, and you also get a nice little rush, and it tastes freaking amazing. It tastes fantastic. A little expensive, that's a little con, but you know what? Taste makes up for it. And then, so caffeine and stuff like that, ice, it's got ice. And then we've got ice cream sandwiches, the best kind of sandwiches, next to PB&J. No, ice cream sandwich, still number 1. All right, and you can do this a little differently. You can do it with cookies and stuff like that, like warm cookies, but I prefer just like the basic, generic ice cream sandwiches that you get from like Walmart or Independent, wherever you're shopping. Those things are freaking incredible. It might have just the basics, but it's so good. And you gotta wait for it to melt a little bit, because I know this is like a little weird thing that not a lot of people do, but ice cream is best when it's melted. Like, okay, not completely melted. Like, you're not soup ice cream. That's not a thing. You're not waiting for it to melt. But when it melts a little bit, it's a little soggy. It sounds gross, but honestly, trust me on this one, is so good. You gotta wait for it to melt just a little bit, just a tad. So yeah, everything with ice, freaking sick. That's the best. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong, at least in my books, because I have an obsession with all of those things. Literally my top 3 things. And now everyone in my house, that is, have fish, and they're freaking cool pets. I used to have a hamster, and that was really kind of gross, and it's not as nice. I'll be honest here, they might be cute, but it's not as nice to take care of a hamster as it is to take care of fish. And I didn't think that would be the case at all. In fact, I thought it'd be the exact opposite. But since owning fish, I've come to realize that they're so entertaining, and it's so much fun to like change up the tank and everything. And I don't know, like a lot of people in my experience who get that, who are like me per se, and have that excitement where they're like, I need to change something up, I need to do something different, and then they do something very impulsive, which is extremely in my case what happens. It is extremely the case for me. I always go out and do something spontaneous that I probably shouldn't, and usually it's something like getting a tattoo, getting a pet, getting something I definitely don't need in my life, something that usually comes with a lot afterwards, like if it's upkeep, if it's making sure that I take care of it, making sure that I have to live with the consequences, I guess. So yeah, that's one thing. And the thing that having a pet fish offers you that coincides with that is actually changing up the tank. You can get different fish, that is, also, but I mean, like, you can change up the plants, you can take things out, put things in, upgrade to a different tank, change the substrate, change the rocks, the sand, whatever, the plants. I know my roommate just got real plants, which is freaking awesome. It's so cool, and it's so entertaining to watch, like a little ecosystem in action, where you have fish schooling around and they actually have personalities. But anyways, this whole conversation that is leading up to say, what are the best pets? And I'm definitely crossing hamsters off that list. No, fish are great pets. So I'm gonna put fish up there. They can be in like the top 3, but then you got like the basic, you got the cat and the dog. Now I'm not gonna put the dog in the that's a tough one. I'm not gonna put dog in the top. It's definitely in top 5, but it's not top 3. So I'm gonna put top 3 would be, all right, we got cats. Okay, we got cats number 1. 2, I'll put bunnies. 3, fish. That's just the top 3. If you have any different opinions, I would love to hear them. But in my books, it goes bunny, because they're like little puppies, but they jump and they're fuzzy, and their poop isn't as big, so there's less to clean up. And I don't know, I find them a lot more cute. But dogs do have more personality, and they're more like affectionate, I guess, because they're like attend to your emotions and everything, and they want to make sure you're okay. And they got a lot of they're like man's best friend, so they got a lot of good qualities. So dogs probably should be in where I put bunnies, but whatever, we're just gonna keep it where it is. Cats get a bad rap too. Cats are awesome pets. People just hate on them because they're not the same as dogs, and they just they're very independent. But whatever, I like that fact about them. And since I mentioned it earlier, real plants versus fake plants. So my roommate recently got real plants in his tank. And generally, like, I gotta be honest, I'm the opposite. I like to have like the fake plants, Go to IKEA, get some plants from there, you're good. You don't even have to build it, okay? It comes in just one piece, you're good. You're solid. No little, tools or anything like that, you're good. The one thing from IKEA that you don't need to build. And you know what? It looks nice, okay? It might not smell or anything, but it won't die, okay? You don't have to worry about that. You keep flowers, you keep them for so long, they usually die. It's a fact of life. Unless you got like bamboo or something like that, okay? Now, fake plants, they're always there, 30 years down the line, you can have your fake plants. They can still be out in the same place. But real plants, nah, that ain't happening. However, real plants, you got some good smells, you got some good vibes. If it's aloe, you can use it, so it's efficient, it's good. So I gotta give it to, in that little debate, I'm gonna say fake plants win, but I'm not knocking real plants. Having a real plant, it can spice up the room, can bring a little happiness. I think it makes you more productive too, which maybe I should just have a bunch of freaking plants by my desk. That'll help. It seems like the one I have isn't doing much. Oh, and another argument I had today. So I'm gonna just lay this out flat out, since earlier I said the top 3 animals you could have, pets. Yeah. So let's say jams. Top 3 jams. All right. I said this to my best buddy Josh. I'm gonna say it again. It goes strawberry. All right. Marmalade. And then raspberry. I don't know how people can say raspberry is the top. It's got too many seeds. Okay. Strawberry has some seeds, but it limits itself. It's not overbearing. They know the limit and they play within it. Just know. Marmalade, is second best. It's got a unique taste. It's good. It's not too much. You can put it on some bread, some toast, and then just eat it up. Perfect. Okay. Maybe not as good as strawberry, but perfect in its own way. And then you got raspberry, where it's not as bad as blueberry jam, but it's still okay. So in its own right, you got to give it number 3. And then you got blueberry, like way down there. But it's the same thing with pie. Like blueberry pie, no. You got to go rhubarb and apple. Even apple crumble is freaking amazing. That's the best pie. I'm sorry if me talking about food is getting you hungry, but it's getting me hungry. So there we go. We're on the same page right now. Oh, all right. So in my books, the most inspirational person, and I'll say this no matter how freaking long away, I'll say this 9 times out of 10. Okay. It doesn't matter if you're asking me now, if you're asking me in a few years, if you're asking me like a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, the most motivational man on earth has to be Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. This man's a legend in his own right. Okay. First of all, his name is The Rock. Like, how cool is that? Second of all, he's a wrestler, actor, he owns his own production company. He owns his own like brand, his own like clothing brand. This guy, he works out what seems like all day. Like everything that he posts, it's in the gym. And he's always just so like muscular that his veins are popping out. He literally looks like a bull. He looks like a raging bull, just full of muscle, and full of drive. Okay. And I'm gonna get on to why he's the most motivational man ever. Because I said this guy's track record, like he used to be a wrestler, whatever. Now he's in giant, huge movies. Okay. That's one thing. He owns his own production company. That's a whole other thing. That's its own career. All right. Now he's also like, I think he's doing a bit of directing, writing, kind of like he gets himself in the door with a lot of things, even like in projects such as Hobbs and Shaw, which is coming out soon, I believe. He kind of took Fast and Furious and kind of like put his foot in the door and made it his own with his production company. So that's a lot of work. And then he goes over all these things. He's got meetings. He's got his own brand. He's just running everything. And on top of all of that, okay, he's got a family with like 2 daughters, I believe. I think he has 3, but he's got like 2 younger daughters right now and a wife. So just imagine, like, how does this guy have time to do all of that stuff? He's like, I saw in an interview or something like that, he says he gets 4 hours of sleep a night. And that just should go to show you that like you can do anything with that mentality, that mindset where you think like, like if you put yourself to it, you can do it. Okay. And that's what he shows you. He's the most motivational person ever. He shows you a little bit of his like a background into his life by saying, "Oh, I started with nothing and I couldn't even help my mom pay rent. So like we were living like in really poor conditions, and then boom, he worked his way to the top, and he's got all this stuff. He's got his own private jet. This guy, he gets 4 hours of sleep a night. He could be living lavishly right now, but he's busting his butt. He's like one of the biggest people in Hollywood." All right, now that I went over that little The Rock tyrant, that little that doesn't sound good together. That little rock rant about rocks, which rock collecting is cool. All right, none of you should be dissing rocks. Rocks are freaking awesome. All right. I don't know why people think it's a lame hobby to be collecting rocks. Okay, it's a little underrated if I'm gonna be honest. Because as a kid, I used to do that all the time. I remember one time there was a fire. What is it? A fire alarm got pulled, and I was freaking out because as a kid, like I didn't understand what that meant. I thought there was literally a fire, and I picked up this nice rock, this really, really cool rock that I was gonna give to my mom, and then I was like, oh shoot, like I gotta get in there, I gotta get it before the fire does. Like I need to give this to my mom. She needs to see how cool this thing is. And you know what? As a young kid, I was ready to run in and save that rock. That's if you can't do that with fish as a hobby, you know? You can't do that with like, I guess you can't do that with decorating and stuff like that and furniture and whatever. Clothes, yeah, okay. Some of it you can do. Hobbies, okay, fine. There's hobbies out there where it's the same, but rock collecting is definitely a cool hobby. Don't knock it, okay? Another thing people are hating on, deservingly so, Crocs, because look at them. Like, they don't look like shoes, all right? They look like a children's toy or like something that you'd wear to go to like the pool, you know, some pool shoes or something like that. And they don't look like something some people should be wearing out in public and everything. But I saw this picture. It actually made me chuckle. So Thor, if you haven't seen the Avengers Endgame, goes through a certain transition where he's like, I guess more lazy, like he's like going through some things mentally, and he puts on weight and stuff like that, lets himself go. Definitely the best way to say it. And at the funeral, at a serious scene, I didn't mean to spoil anything, I haven't. At this serious scene, everyone's like dressed to the nines, and then he's sitting there in Crocs. This man was wearing Crocs. All right. Now, I don't get why you'd wear Crocs. Like I'm saying, you just get normal shoes. Just if you want like a cheaper shoe that's very comfortable and you're going for comfort, get some Skechers. Copy some Skechers. All right, they got the comfortability, they got the good prices, and you won't even be able to tell they're Skechers unless you get the ones that glow or the ones that literally have like the S on it. All right, I'm telling you, Skechers are the way to go. Shouldn't knock those either. They don't have the rap that they should. Now, one last thing I kind of wanted to touch on is I saw this tweet and it reads, ironic, no ramp at a smart city panel. I was invited to speak on accessibility, but it was a struggle to get onto the stage. So this guy was literally giving an entire speech at this place. He came here so that he could give a little speech on accessibility and I guess how like important it is and stuff like that. How we should be realizing that more places need to be accessible, maybe how. And they have a picture of the stairs. They could have had a ramp so easily, but they've got these little stairs and then plants all beside it. And they have a picture of them literally taking this guy's wheelchair and carrying it over the stairs. Like, whose mans didn't think to get a little ramp for the man who's talking about accessibility? What were you thinking? You know? What were you thinking? Like, were you thinking he was gonna levitate his ass up there? Like, he's not Professor, what was his name? Professor Xavier. Like, what? Anyways, yeah, I don't know X-Men. All right, that's been a unknown podcast episode. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.